Hades is the debut full length from Thanatomass, a Russia-based bestial black death metal band who could be just simply described as black metal, just in the same way Catharsis could be. But for the sake of covering all the bases that this could potentially appeal to, I think like kind of the war metal and bestial black death metal crowd, this is the right kind of thing in the right kind of in the right sense that would appeal. This debut full length is impressively complete and accomplished in its thought, and manages to feel emergent, aggressive, and destructive within these very long, very involved pieces, which range, typically 8 to 10 minutes on average, much in the way that Catharsis and Black Fucking Cancer and a lot of bands like that uh, tend to. So before I get too deep into what this is, let's just have a quick listen to one of the pieces and we'll go from there. So Thanatomass is very much in the spirit of Sarcophago and Catharsis. I think that it is bestial, thrashing, aggressive, and full of ideas in in the way that I think like Antichrist Siege Machine is too. But this band is a little bit more rooted in the speed metal and kind of earlier black metal feeling in a lot of ways, which translates more on their earliest first two demos and their first EP. So what we get here is a refinement of that sound that came pretty naturally through a series of smaller releases, and they really put in the work to develop this sound and this dynamic. And here on this record, we get more of a live, kind of brutal, almost not necessarily lo-fi, but just barbaric in its presentation, recording, and the sound design is primitive enough to where it feels like this came out in like 1998 or so, to me at least. Again, these are longer form songs, and they're very involved, and they're entertaining in the same way to me that the early releases from Hellhammer and Messiah were, where the interplay of the rhythm in the 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 trio format allows for a lot of finesse to arise in their bashing at it together, and I think the apex of maybe this idea is a band like Chthonic Cervix, and this is maybe a step more towards to the barbaric feeling of it, while still managing to hold on to that sort of speed metal, death metal interplay with black metal and its early forms. So there's nothing entirely cerebral about it. It really is rhythmic play in a very impressive album form. And what impressed me most about listening to this album is just that it's sitting with it and catching the riffs, feeling the emergent moments strike out at any given moment, and always feeling like there was something different around the corner throughout the full listen. And I feel like they did a great job of developing that over the course of several small releases. That this is a proper debut. I think it's an impressive. Like I say here, it's a welcome dent to the skull. It was a surprise. It was a very inspired thing to come from a band kind of out of nowhere. Even though I knew about them based on their previous EP, but I hadn't even written about it back in the day. So definitely caught my ear, definitely spent a ton of time with it, and ultimately it ends up being I think one of the better releases of the month. I know that'll kind of be befuddling to people when there's Grave Desecration, Thanatomass, and Impetuous Ritual all coming out with records on the same day, but at the very least make sure you include this one as well, because I think when you sit with all four of those albums as long as I have, you'll see the virtues of this record in its readability, its aggressive nature, its just fiery feeling. It just feels like it's so charged without any bit of self-conscious attitude. It's just more elite in that sense. It just feels like they know what they're doing, and they're just chopping away at it in a very satisfying way. So that got through to me. It does feel like a garage black metal recording in some sense, just because the choices they made with the drum sound and all that. And I particularly like how that sounds realistic. Like they're in the rehearsal room and cutting away at it. So and see if that lines up with what you like about bestial black metal and this style. And check out more of the written review. It's a very high recommendation for me, and you can listen to it now. I actually premiered the album yesterday on the site, and you can listen to it there.